Listen,
and
man.
Victor Wembanyama threw in that half-court shot. Was like,
here's the thing. He didn't throw it in. He shot it alarmingly easily, I would say. It looked very smooth, quite frankly.
It was a pull-up jump shot from half court.
It was
That's
incredible.
Exactly what it was.
But when that went in, after neither team had made a three the entire second quarter before that, I was like, yep, I think this one's going San Antonio's way. And the second half certainly was nothing but Spurs from there.
Listen, man, the Thunder, they've got some problems right now. So we'll see if he's able to come back in the series. But that's a lot of creation, a lot of playmaking, sitting on the bench in street clothes. It's a lot of burden just planted on Shea's shoulders, and Shea's got enough to deal with. He's got to deal with Stephon Castle up in his grill. He's got to deal with all these double teams. He's got to deal with, if he does find a crack in the defense, you got a 7.5-foot alien back there, waiting to reject your stuff. The Spurs are an elite defensive team. The Thunder are a wounded offensive team, and the Thunder, even under those circumstances, did not play well. As Mark Daigneault said, the Spurs' physicality was much more impactful than the force that the Thunder played with, and that's how you have their highest turnover game in the playoffs and their worst shooting game in the playoffs.
When the Thunder are getting out turnover in a game like they did tonight, when they had more turnovers than the Spurs did, that is obviously not a recipe for success for them, particularly when they're missing A.J. Mitchell, even though he struggled in this series before he got hurt, and Jalen Williams. And I thought it was really smart of San Antonio. I mean, you mentioned the double teams, but man, there weren't a ton of those today. There were a couple, but it was a lot of just, we're going to make you go at Stephon Castle and score, and we're not going to allow you to make these easy passes to open guys for three-point shots. Now, Jared McCain was very bad today. He was as bad today as he was good the other night. Jalen Williams was great the other night. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn today. Obviously, those guys missing open shots hurts, but I thought it was a smart strategy for San Antonio to say, all right, the other two main ball handlers are not on the court. Let's just make Shea try to manufacture points on his own and not let these guys start the blender and get easy looks. I thought that was a big part of what allowed San Antonio to really build that early lead, because as soon as those guys stopped hitting shots, and it was like, all right, where's the offense coming from? And, it quickly became, like you said, even on a night, like Brian said, where San Antonio didn't hit shots, it was the Spurs' physicality really winning the day, felt like.
More than 8 minutes into the game, Isaiah Hartenstein floaters were the only Thunder buckets. And he came out and hit a flurry, but he hit 4 floaters, and they didn't score other than that in the first 8+ minutes of the game. And they've had bad starts both these last couple games. The bench, I don't know what the exact bench scoring was, but it sure wasn't 76 in this game. I mean, there was
a lot of garbage time, so it was
they
hard
got some garbage time stuff
to compute it. But I will say that Bontemps talked about this. We'll see what the report is on the double teams. I still feel like they brought double teams to Shea, but instead of double teaming him, like when he came over half court, and it made it easier to create 4-on-3 scenarios, they made him commit to his drive and then brought help. It's a subtle difference, but it makes it easier for your players to help and recover.
Yeah, and listen, I thought, like, Stephon Castle, you look at his box score line, it's nothing special. I thought he was awesome in this game.
Awesome. The third quarter tonight, he was the star on the court.
Yeah, and I thought even the first half, like, he didn't do a whole lot offensively, but I thought defensively, obviously, you're always going to talk about Wemby when you talk about the Spurs defense. I thought Stephon Castle was absolutely elite all night as the primary guy on Shea, and
he set the tone.
Yeah, Shea's not a real powerful guy in terms of he's not a huge guy, but you don't see him get just manhandled very often. And I thought Stephon Castle was up in him and was dictating the terms of engagement all night in that matchup.
Yep. One other thing for the Thunder, obviously no Jalen Williams and no A.J. Mitchell. You're losing incredible perimeter scoring, perimeter shot creation. Against the Lakers, Chet Holmgren dominated. Now, I know that the Lakers front line and the Spurs front line, comparing the two is really a fruitless maneuver. But Chet had some huge performances in those games. Okay.
Look, Chet was 37 for 38 within 5 feet of the basket in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. 37 for 38. I don't care who you're playing against. That's dominant stuff.
He had a 5-game run against Phoenix and the Lakers. These were his numbers: 24-12, 24-12, 22-9, 18-9, 16-9. He has failed to crack 10, I think, twice.
He's just not been good enough. I mean, he's just not been good enough. And it's looked like a mental thing, frankly. I mean,
Well, I think number one has something to do with it.
Well, but
Yeah.
that's the mental thing. It's that guy wants to take his head off every time he plays him. And Chet has not risen to the moment on that. And going into game 5, I mean, I said it after game 2, even though the sport we haven't fought in the last couple of days, but Chet was really bad in the first 2 games. He had an okay game in game 3, but with these guys out, he can't have an okay game. He's got to be good. He has to be effective for them. Isaiah Hartenstein's been really good, but they need Chet Holmgren to be an impactful all-NBA caliber player the final 2 or 3 games this year, so however long it goes. They can't have him being borderline invisible, which is what he's been through the first 4.
Well, and he's, by default, he has to be one of their primary creators now. He only got 8 shots up tonight. That's not enough. He had as many buckets as he did turnovers. That ain't going to cut it. Honestly, the biggest surprise to me when I'm looking at the box score is Chet was a +2 because he was completely unimpactful. I mean, offensively, he was damn near invisible. And he was a third team All-NBA selection. I thought deservedly so. He's got to play to that level. He has to play that. And look, he did, he went and he tried to dunk it on Wemby early in this game, and Wemby returned that thing to Cinder, and I thought Chet was a very hesitant player the rest of the game.
I have to say, that's a great point. I have to say, the thing on the box score that made my eyebrow go up was the fact that Alex Caruso, who has been the X factor in the series, was shooting 60% from 3. He played 14 minutes tonight. He was minus 22. He's obviously been the plus-minus star of that series until tonight. McMahon, he got 1 shot off.
Well, and look, that tells you that the Spurs are no longer, they're not putting Wemby on him anymore, right? He shot him out of that. Wemby was guarding the bigs tonight, so he shot the Spurs out of that strategy. I mean, I would say the only silver lining is Caruso playing 14 minutes. You would think his legs would feel fairly fresh.
Yeah, Dagenhalt waved the white flag in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, but this was listen, man. Isaiah Hartenstein is really the only guy if you want to say Kenrich Williams, who got minutes for the first time really all series. Those are the only guys I thought were halfway decent for the Thunder tonight.
But everyone else, Casey Wallace had some stretches where he was pretty good, but everybody else.
Hey, during that stretch when Shea was out with the ab injury, Casey Wallace, if you remember, he was putting together 20-point high assist type of performances. He's got to be able to give him something.
That too.
He's got to be able to give him something offensive. He's got to be able to give him something creation. And, he, like a lot of guys, when he does get in the paint and Wemby's on the floor, he ain't looking at the rim. He's not looking at the rim. Paint scoring tonight, 50-36. 36 ain't going to cut it, man.
No, again, the Thunder live off points off turnovers. They had more turnovers than they created today. The Spurs had a ton more free throws. The Thunder didn't hit any threes. I mean, they didn't check any of the boxes. And we should say too, the Spurs played like a team that was down 2-1 at home, right? They came out, and from the opening tip, they were insanely aggressive. I think you were spot on. Yes, Victor had some incredible plays like he always does. I thought the MVP of the game was Stephon Castle with the way he set the tone right from the jump. No, Victor was incredible, but I just mean in terms of the tone was set by the way Stephon Castle got into Shea from the second the game started. And Shea never felt comfortable the whole game. Like you said, he looked rattled the whole game. He's losing the ball, getting knocked away from him, committing turnovers. He never was comfortable the whole game. And that was because of the unrelenting pressure that Castle put on him. And I thought that really did, from the opening tip, set the tone for what the level of desperation the Spurs needed to play with to make sure they didn't go down 3-1. And I mean, obviously Victor made like 19 insane plays. I mean, Brian texted us the one where he dunked on the fast break. I thought it was like his 5th or 6th best play of the game. Like he did just wild stuff.
I just couldn't believe how he got from outside the foul line to the basket with his left hand. It was just
He had another one. He had another lefty dunk like that where Castle
later
wrapped
in the
behind
game.
his back in transition, and Wemby was like, "Oh wait, I thought you were going to finish." Okay,
I'm not even sure who Castle. It was a 3-on-1 fast break, and Castle just threw it behind his back, and he was like, "One of you two guys get this."
Yeah, somebody will get it. Well, how about the one where Victor tipped the ball? Victor was on I think the left side of the basket. The ball went up, and he went under the other side and like reverse tapped it in like a.
He was playing volleyball.
Yeah, I mean that was insane too. I mean, he tried to throw it to himself off the backboard 2 or 3 times again.
So the guy hits a comfortable, good form pull up half court shot in the first half, and then 30 seconds in the second half, catches a lob in traffic and gets an and one dunk. I mean, like get you a big man who can do both.
Yeah, just completely insane.
I felt that in Game 3, I felt that that Victor looked a little fatigued, and if you looked at the rebounding, particularly the offensive rebounding, which is a real effort thing in a lot of cases. He had 9 in Game 1, which was aided by overtime, but still, I think he had 7 in regulation. Then he had 5 offensive rebounds in Game 2. Then in Game 3, he had no offensive rebounds, only 4 rebounds. And if you watch, I just felt in that game, McMahon, he looked tired. He was much more refreshed tonight.
Sure, and I think he was completely off his feet yesterday. We went to the Spurs availability. They had a film session, and then most guys got out there and got some shots up. Wemby wasn't in workout